Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Your stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I'm here in studio with National Day of Prayer organizer Roger Swim here on the WTIM Morning Show. Great to have you here on the program, Mr. Swim.
Thank you. It's nice to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people are aware of, but when it actually comes to National Day of Prayer, I'm not sure everybody really knows what it means to celebrate it. So tell me, what does it mean to you?
Well, let's put it this way. It's part of, it was founded in 1952 as a National Day of Prayer between Congress and President Truman. And the holiday was signed by Truman. And every year, the president has to reestablish the National Day of Prayer. Usually, like Thanksgiving, the president makes his proclamation weeks ahead of time. However, President Biden has been making it one day in advance. So there's a national organization called the National Day of Prayer.org, and they kind of supervise all of this to make sure it's operating according to program.
Right, according to the tradition of observing it once a year?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And it's interesting that the president hasn't been recognizing or making the proclamation until the day before. It's kind of hard to plan. But we know through the National Day of Prayer org what to do, and they've laid out the program, and we've been following it I've been involved with it for 4 years, and we've been following their program, which we will do this year.
Now, you are part of a group of volunteers.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that group of volunteers.
That group of volunteers is a group of veterans who service other veterans who are in hospice or at the end of their life. We have a program where we recognize their service and pin them. It's called recognition and pinning ceremony. And we do that either at the nursing home or the hospital or in their own home at the time that they are close to the end of their life. And it's been very successful. We've pinned, we've been in operation for 5 years now. We've pinned over 50 veterans. I think mostly we're male, but we've pinned at least 3 female members of military over that time.
Yeah. I mean, describe the ceremony for me, and then describe what this pin looks like.
Oh, the pin is just a service pin, one for each branch of service. And when we go in, we have a wreath that's been made. It's waterproof and it has a big seal in the middle of the branch of service, and then decoration around it. And so we take one of these wreaths according to this branch of service that the veteran has served. And we also have a blanket it's a, fleece blanket. And it has all pictures and things of that branch of service. That's been made by various people over time. And because it's, they tie the edges instead of sewing it around the edge. And it's each time they tie it, they say a prayer. Mm-hmm. So the service is that we go in as a group with flags, depending on how many of us are available. And we go through a time when we recognize them, give them a certificate, pin them, give them the blanket, and ask them to tell us a bit about their service. And it's been amazing because over the years, the families have come to us and say, that's the first time he's ever talked or she's ever talked about their service. So they were very appreciative
Mhm.
of this activity. So it's not unusual for us, because we're in the community a lot, to have been asked to now hold this, or to sponsor. I guess we're not sponsoring, we're organizing,
Right.
pulling together this National Day of Prayer. On last year, because of COVID, we did not have a service, a ceremony.
Mm.
The year before, the last 2 years, we met. Oh, sorry. Let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
Previously, they used to meet in Kitchell Park, out
Okay.
in the open. But the weather in May is uncharacteristic and unpredictable. So we started having them in churches, because it's kind of a correlation between National Day of Prayer and a church. So the Christian church served twice, and now we're going to the Methodist church in Pana, and we will move around to different churches as time goes on. And the National Day of Prayer, the organization recommends that we look at that they look at 7 different areas in presentations. So we look at things like how prayer for government, and that means state, local, state, and federal, and
right. Any level.
all levels of
Right.
government.
Right.
And then the ministerial level, and education, healthcare, business, media. And this year we have Randall J. Miller is coming to speak on the combination of media and business. So we have a speaker for each of those areas, and intersperse it with music, either solo work or instrumental work. And this year we have six ministers who have come to participate. So I've had to arrange the schedule so that there was some part that each one of them had something to do, other than the 6 major speakers, or major speakers.
Yeah. Is that normal to have 6 different priests or
Well, the speakers are not.
I beg your pardon.
That's right. The speakers are someone who specializes in that area. Like,
I understand now. Right. Like Randall J. Miller, who specializes in media and business.
right. Especially in
Gotcha.
business, now that he's working with the CEO program.
Right. Yeah. That's a really, talk about business and teaching
Yep.
kids, high schoolers, how to become successful business people.
When I returned back to Pana just 6 years ago. I was born here in Pana, but have come back. And when I was in Oregon, I was in a program that was called, let's see, what was it? Leadership Beaverton, because the Chamber of Commerce was Beaverton, Oregon.
Love Beaverton, by the way. That's a nice little town.
And the format for the CEO program that Randall and the group are working on is similar to the program that we had and in the Leadership Beaverton. So I was able to go last year and speak to the group as a representative of the Lions Club, and how volunteer work as a service organization like Lions work in the community. So yes, he's going to be good with covering both areas. The other people, like on education, it's one of the teachers from the grade school in Pana. And the one who speaks on healthcare happens to be one of our chaplains for the volunteer veteran program, who's also an anesthesiologist at the hospital. So we try to correlate the area that they're covering with what they have succeeded at in their own life.
Right.
And consequently, the way that they speak it in different ways. Some people just give a prayer, some quote some scripture and do something, and some talk about how prayer has successfully been used in their life in their world to advance their life. Let
me reintroduce you here, and then we'll continue our conversation after a quick break. This organizer of National Day of Prayer, in a sense, Roger Swim, here on the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Steve Cooper. Your stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark.
Check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network for this Monday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all double-digit higher. May corn 807 up 16 3/4. July corn up 17 3/4, 801 1/2. December corn 748 1/2. Up 13 1/4. May beans 1712 1/4 up 30. July beans up 27 1/2, 1692 3/4. November beans 1520 1/2 up 19. May wheat 1128 3/4 up 32 1/4. July wheat up 32 1/2, 1137. May bean meal 464.60 up 320. May bean oil 80.28 up $1.37. The livestock market, April live cattle 140.87 up 20 cents. April feeders 156.85 down $1.35. May lean hogs up $1.80, 114.55. In the energy market at this hour, June Brent crude oil up $1.17, 112.87. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Kirby Hames here from PS Printing in Taylorville. We have a new location to serve you. We're now at 350 North Webster on Illinois Route 29, right next to Wendy's. We're still providing the quality printing services you have come to expect from PS Printing since 1978, as well as complete web design, hosting, and even mobile apps. And we also create and provide digital signage to help you promote your products even better. PS Printing, now at 350 North Webster next to Wendy's. Online at psprinting.com.
You see the signs at the state line, you are leaving Illinois. No kidding. Your family, friends, businesses are fleeing. Gary Rabine is running for governor to stop this problem. Rabine is a self-made businessman with 13 companies in Illinois.
Hi, I'm Gary Rabine. I see the problems every day. Highest taxes, most regulations of any state, along with crime, education, and jobs. We have challenges. I've got solutions. Join us. It's Rabine time.
Paid for by Rabine for governor.
Here's Will Perkins. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Do you have your eye on a new boat or camper? At Taylorville Community Credit Union, we can help you with your new purchase. We offer low interest rates and generous payback periods. At TCCU, we pride ourselves in providing excellent service and personal attention. So, if you are looking to make a new purchase, give TCCU a chance to earn your business. We are conveniently located in Taylorville, Hillsboro, Litchfield, and Pana. You can also find us online at tccu.org. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Getting routine vaccinations protects you and those you love. Not sure about your vaccination history and status? Check with your Springfield Clinic provider to talk about which vaccinations are right for you. Springfield Clinic, a community of caring.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Steve Cooper. Your stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. And Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I'm here in studio with organizer of the National Day of Prayer event coming up May 5th, Roger Swim. It's great to have you here in studio, Roger. Tell me a little bit about this event coming up May 5th. Where is it? Will there be food? I want to know the details.
Fine. There's May 5th. Yes. It's going to be at the First United Methodist Church in Pana. It will start at 5:30, and we are trying very hard to make it just an hour. However, we have 7 presenters, and we have soloists, and we have a family choir that will be singing, and we have 5 other pastors from churches in Pana who will have some little part to play in it. So hopefully it's an hour if we run over a little. Then we're going to offer a supper. My menu,
Okay.
Sloppy Joe's.
Ooh, there you go.
Easy for us because
Easy and tasty.
Yes. And so the supper will be in what they call Fellows Hall as part of the church. So from the time we arrive until the time it's over, right there in the building.
And which church is this at?
The Methodist Church
In Pana.
in Pana
Got it.
on Kitchell Street.
Understood. Okay. And so come for the speakers and entertainment, stay for the Sloppy Joes.
Yeah, that's right. Stay for the Sloppy Joes.
So tell me a little bit about National Day of Prayer. You've come very prepared. Tell me a little bit about some of the nuts and bolts of National Day of Prayer.
Well, actually, the National Day of Prayer, which Truman was interested in, was because since the 1700s, there have been 140 National Days of Prayer by the presidents of the United States over that period of time.
Like the late 1700s then, right?
Well,
By the presidents, I'm just by thinking.
Oh, by the president, but before that, there were by Congress and the Continental Congress and the Congress of the United States.
Gotcha. Sorry to convolute things.
So I guess we could say that it started in the late 1760s, early 1770s.
Right.
From that time, there have been 140 National Days of Prayer called for. I don't know how many Lincoln called for, but it was quite a few during
That feels low considering it's been over 200 years since that time. You know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't a holiday back then. It
Right.
It was something that was needed. That they felt it was needed to ask God to help keeping things going.
Sometimes, sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes maybe in times of turmoil or other needing times.
Well, if you think about the Revolutionary War,
right,
and George Washington was noted as a great prayer, and the founders of our nation were founding a nation which they believed to be a gift from God. And still we have on our coins, under God we trust. Is that
in God we trust.
In God we trust.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Kind of the same message, different words, same message. We got about 1 minute here, Roger. I wanted to give you the floor to really wrap up or maybe get to something we didn't get to, or maybe just reiterate the National Day of Prayer coming up event at the United Methodist Church in Pana.
Well, one thing is that prayer is part of our cultural history. We were founded as a Christian nation, and parents and grandparents have some kind of belief in religion that they've practiced. And the National Day of Prayer helps everyone take a moment to remember how their family was raised and reflected on their culture and family history.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on here and just sharing a little bit about National Day of Prayer. Again, there's an event coming up at the Methodist Church in Pana. On what street again, Roger?
Kitchell Street.
On Kitchell Street, May 5th. What time does it start?
5:30.
5:30. You have lots of entertainment. And then stay for the Sloppy Joes. Sounds like a lot of fun, Roger. Thank you so much for coming on and talk about National Day of Prayer.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Your stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark.